Some movies are remembered because they tell incredible stories. Others make you wonder whether the filmmakers had completely lost their minds. The funny thing is, weird doesn't always mean bad. I mean, anything can be entertaining, I suppose. Entertainment is subjective. But every single movie I'm about to list will make you ask, what on earth am I watching? So today we're looking at 15 of the weirdest movies ever made. Let's start with one that sounds completely fake, but it's not. The movie exists. Rubber. Imagine walking into the movie theater and discovering the main character of the film, the protagonist, is a tire. Not a race car, not a driver, just a tire. It sounds like the kind of movie your friend invents just to see if you believe them. Except Rubber is very real. It's an actual movie. The film follows an abandoned tire named Robert that mysteriously comes to life in the middle of the desert. At first, it simply rolls around discovering the world like a curious child. Then it realizes it has telekinetic powers. It can blow things up just by looking at it. It starts with bottles, then small animals. Before long, it's exploding people's heads. Yeah. The serial killer in the movie is literally a tire rolling through the desert, exploding people's heads with its mind. But somehow, that's still not the weirdest part. Throughout the movie, there are people standing in the desert, watching everything happen almost as if they are watching a movie themselves. Characters question why events are unfolding the way they are, and the film practically tells the audience to stop looking for logic. It's ridiculous, it's completely absurd, and somehow, it works, right? I still have no idea how someone pitched this film with a straight face. Now, before jumping to number 2, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy movie content. Next, House. If you think you've seen every haunted house movie, think again. House follows 7 schoolgirls who decide to spend their summer vacation at one of their aunt's old country homes. At first, it feels fairly normal. Then the house decides it's hungry. A piano literally eats one of the girls. A floating head suddenly appears out of nowhere. A cat seems to control supernatural events. Mirrors attack people. Furniture comes to life. At one point, I honestly stopped trying to predict what would happen next. Man, it was an adventure. The crazy thing is that the director reportedly based many of the film's ideas on the nightmares of his young daughter, which explains why the movie feels less like horror and more like a dream, that makes absolutely no sense. Next, The Happiness of the Katakuris. Just when you think you've seen every type of family movie imaginable, along comes The Happiness of Katakuris. A family opens a small countryside guest house, hoping to start a new life. Instead, every guest who checks in dies. Rather than calling the police, the family decides to secretly bury the bodies to protect their business. Weird enough? Not even close. Without warning, the movie suddenly turns into a musical. Claymation, then horror, then comedy, sometimes all within the same scene. It's almost impossible to predict what's coming next because the movie keeps changing genres every few minutes, basically. It shouldn't work, and somehow it absolutely does, right? It's one of the most oddly delightful, unhinged movies ever made. 4. The Lobster. Finding love can be difficult, ladies and gentlemen, right? But The Lobster raises the stakes a little bit higher. In this world, if you're single, you're sent to a hotel where you have 45 days to find a romantic partner. If you fail, you get turned into an animal. Not metaphorically. Literally. Our main character chooses to become a lobster. Why a lobster? Apparently because they live for a very long time. Fair enough. Now, the strangest thing is that everyone in this world accepts this rule as completely normal, right? No one questions it. No one argues. They simply try to fall in love before time runs out. It's one of those movies where the premise is just so bizarre that after 10 minutes, you just accept it, basically, right? Then the credits roll and you suddenly remember how strange the entire experience was. Number 5. Being John Malkovich, something more mainstream, ladies and gentlemen. Most people have wondered what it's like, to be famous. This movie takes that idea way too far, okay? A struggling puppeteer discovers a tiny hidden doorway inside his office. When he crawls through it, he ends up inside actor John Malkovich's mind for exactly 15 minutes. That's it. He sees through Malkovich's eyes. hears what he hears, lives his life. Then he is unceremoniously dumped on the side of the highway. Naturally, instead of questioning this impossible discovery, he starts selling tickets. He turns it into a business, basically. Before long, people are lining up to spend 15 minutes inside John Malkovich's head. It's such an unbelievably strange idea that I oddly understand why it works. It's so bizarre that it is indeed great. Now, if you thought those movies were strange, trust me, we're just getting started. This is in no particular order, I suppose, but whatever. Number 6. Swiss Army Man. Let's say you're stranded on a desert island. No food, no hope, no way home. A dead body washes ashore. Sounds depressing, except the corpse starts farting. So much so that it turns into a jet ski. Yes, a jet ski. That's the premise of Swiss Army Man. As the movie goes on, the corpse somehow becomes a survival tool, a best friend, and surprisingly, a life coach. I know. Sounds like someone lost a bet or something. I don't know. But beneath all this absurdity, it's genuinely a touching story about loneliness, friendship, and learning to accept yourself. It's weird, it's hilarious, and somehow it has a lot of heart, if that makes sense. Number 7. Sorry to Bother You. This is one of those movies that tricks you. It starts off like a clever comedy about a struggling telemarketer trying to survive. Then the movie takes one of the biggest left turns I've ever seen. And I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to say anything. Because if you decide to watch this movie, you deserve to experience that moment for yourself. Trust me, man. Let's just say by the end, you'll probably just look at the title screen just to make sure you're watching the same film. So yeah, I'm actually not going to say much about that one. Just go for it. Number 8. Holy Motors. Imagine your job was being different people every single day. A wealthy person, a businessman, a homeless woman, a hitman, an old man, a motion capture actor. And every time you finish one role, you climb back into a limousine and drive to the next. That's Holy Motors. Nobody really explains why this man is doing any of it, or who he's performing for. The movie simply asks you to accept it and enjoy the ride. It's mysterious, it's fascinating, and every 20 minutes, it somehow turns into a completely different movie. Go for it. Number 9. Dogtooth. Parents lie to their children all the time, usually about Santa Claus, but these parents basically take it to another level. In Dogtooth, 3 adult siblings are raised without ever leaving their family home. Their parents convince them that airplanes are toys, cats are terrifying monsters, and they'll only be allowed outside of their home once one of their canine teeth falls out. Everything they know about the world is completely made up. Do you just realize how fragile our understanding of the world truly is? It's one of the strangest family dramas ever made, and probably the only one where a cat becomes the main villain. Number 10. Tetsuo, the Iron Man. By now you probably noticed something. A lot of weird movies ask, what if? Well, here's another one. What if a man slowly turned into metal? That's exactly what happened in Tetsuo, the Iron Man. An ordinary office worker suddenly finds wires pushing through his skin. Metal replacing flesh, machines becoming part of his body. Before long, he's barely human anymore. The movie barely pauses to explain any of it. It simply throws you into 90 minutes of industrial chaos. Loud noises, rapid editing, bizarre imagery. It's less like watching a movie and more like surviving one. So, recap. So far we've seen a killer tire, a haunted house with a taste for humans, people turning into animals, a portal into John Malkovich's mind, a fart-powered corpse, a world built entirely on lies, and a man becoming a machine. Believe it or not, I still have 5 more. Number 11, Eraserhead. Some movies tell you exactly what's happening. Eraserhead does the exact opposite. The film follows a quiet factory worker named Henry whose already miserable life becomes even stranger after he unexpectedly becomes a father. The problem? His baby doesn't exactly look human. From that point on, the movie descends into what feels like a never-ending nightmare. Nothing is fully explained. Every room feels unsettling. Every sound makes you uncomfortable. And by the time the credits roll, you'll probably have more questions than answers. David Lynch never wanted audiences to solve the movie. He wanted them to experience it. And trust me, it's an experience. Number 12. Mad God. Imagine someone spent 30 years building their nightmare by hand. That's basically Mad God. Created almost entirely using stop-motion animation, the film follows a mysterious figure descending through a world filled with bizarre creatures, giant machines, strange civilizations, and things I genuinely don't know how to describe. There's almost no dialogue in the film. There doesn't need to be, honestly. Every few minutes you'll see something so unusual, you'll instinctively ask, what was that? It's disgusting, it's fascinating, it's mesmerizing, and visually I've never seen anything quite like it. At number 13, we're going mainstream, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Most multiverse movies explore one or two alternative realities. This one explores everything. An ordinary laundromat owner suddenly discovers she's the only person capable of saving every universe that exists. Sounds like your average multiverse universe, until you realize this universe has people with hot dog fingers. Another is controlled by a raccoon hiding inside a chef's hat. And one of the most emotional scenes in the entire movie features two rocks. Two rocks. The amazing part is that, despite all the absolute insanity, it somehow becomes one of the most heartfelt family movies ever made. Number 14. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the 8th Dimension. Some movie characters have one job. Buckaroo Banzai has several. Apparently, that still wasn't enough though, because he also ends up fighting aliens from another dimension. The movie throws so many strange ideas at you all at once, quickly, that after a while you simply stop questioning the film. It's chaotic, it's unpredictable, and somehow it has become one of the biggest classics of the 1980s. And finally, we have The Holy Mountain. Trying to explain this movie is almost impossible. A mysterious alchemist leads a group of strangers on a journey towards enlightenment. That's technically the story, but saying that barely scratches the surface. Every scene is filled with bizarre rituals, surreal imagery, religious symbolism, animals wandering through elaborate sets, and visuals that make you wonder how anyone even imagined them in the first place, honestly. The Holy Mountain asks you to surrender to the experience. You may not understand everything you see. Honestly, I don't think you're supposed to, I guess. Looking back at this list, it's amazing that each one of these movies actually got made. A killer tire, a haunted house that eats people, a portal into John Malkovich's mind, a fart-powered corpse, a man slowly turning into metal, hot dog fingers, and somehow every single one found an audience. Sometimes movies can make absolutely no sense, but somehow you're invested in them anyways due to the bizarre nature of the film. So which of these movies are the weirdest in your opinion? And more importantly, which one are you actually brave enough to watch? By the way, some special mentions. Naked Lunch, Brazil, Fantastic Planet, The City of Lost Children. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chirag. Peace out. Bye.